and Angel Reese missing a layup when it actually matters. That's the joke going around after the Fever beat the Dream in overtime. And honestly, the tape backs it up. Caitlyn Clark carried Indiana with 26-9. Makayla Timpson had the game of her career, and Reese spent the whole night trying to be physical instead of good. There's a shove in the first quarter of this game that should have been a flagrant foul. Instead, the refs let it go. Angel Reese kept playing physical all night, and Caitlyn Clark just kept scoring on her, serving Reese a dose of instant karma. Do you support Caitlyn, the baby goat, or Reese, the baby giraffe? Let me know down in the comments below.
There's 3 things that's guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing crucial layups. And my goodness, she missed it at a perfect time. Thank you, Angel Reese, because now Fever can move up in the standings because of you. You blew it for your dream.
First quarter, balls in the paint, and Angel Reese puts both hands on Caitlyn Clark and shoves her. No whistle, nothing. Clark immediately appeals to the refs. The Atlanta bench barely blinks, and the refs just let the possession keep rolling like nothing happened. Fans watching at home rewound that clip about 10 times because it genuinely didn't look like a basketball play. It looked like Reese trying to send a message early and getting away clean with it.
But just 35% from 3 after a couple years in the 40s. Howard misses that one.
Atlanta came into this game leaning on size, length, and physical pressure instead of actually running offense through their guards. That's been the blueprint against Clark all season. Teams figure they can't outscore her, so they try to wear her down, bump her off her spots, and hope the refs let it slide. Reese, in particular, has made contact her whole identity against Indiana, and this shove was the clearest version of it. Her hands landed square on Clark's shoulder blades. She drove through with her hips, and Clark had zero chance to brace for the fall. That's not a bump. That's a shove that meets every definition of a flagrant foul, excessive and unnecessary contact on a player with the ball nowhere near the play. Got up, walked back on defense, and just kept playing her game like the shove never happened. That's the part that actually shifted things, because Indiana's whole bench saw their point guard eat a hard foul and respond with focus instead of frustration, and it lit a fire under their defense for the rest of the first half. The no call became the moment Indiana stopped playing nice and started playing like they had something to prove, and that's exactly where the real story of this game begins. 26 points, 9 assists, and she got knocked around all night and just kept scoring. That's the stat line that stopped scrolling feeds cold after this one. People weren't just looking at the box score, they were rewatching how she got there. Because Clark built that line piece by piece against a defense that fouled her early and often and never actually slowed her down. She hit a couple pull-up threes off the dribble, the kind where the defender's hand is right in her face and it doesn't matter. Then, as the game opened up, she started finding Boston and Timpson cutting through the lane with these little pocket passes, the ball arriving right at the hip before the defender can react. That's the part casual fans miss. Clark's scoring gets the headlines, but the reason Indiana's offense works is she's already seeing the next pass before the defense finishes rotating. 9 assists doesn't sound like a huge number until you watch how many of them turned into layups instead of contested jumpers.
Her teammates. Stephanie White says she's seeing the whole floor doing a jump
dream.
circle. Sherrod
There's
did
Clark,
not even
guarded
know
by
where to
Sherrod,
be.
finds Timpson on the roll. She'll lay it in.
When it's to play fast, push the pace, as does Indiana.
Clark bangs all the way in and finish. Here's Clark working behind Boston. Has the switch on Reese. Will fire and hit from 3. Cunningham looking for help, finds Clark. Clark to a wide open Harris. Her 3 is good.
Zoom out and the numbers get bigger. Clark's averaging 22 points a game this season, and that's the highest scoring average for a point guard this century. Not this season, not this decade, this century. On top of that, she's leading the entire league in assists per game across all 3 years she's played, which means she's not just a scorer who happens to pass, she's the best passer in the league who also happens to score more than almost anyone else at her position. Then there's the 700 assist mark. Clark hit it faster than anyone in WNBA history, and faster than anyone in NBA history too. Faster than Magic Johnson, faster than John Stockton, faster than every point guard people spent decades comparing her to. That's not a hot streak. That's a pace nobody in either league has ever touched.
And then Ty said, Cece leaves me in awe. Said, I'm watching her some wheeling, bouncing space, didn't take, finds Boston in the paint. Ready basis for this group.
Exactly that, making a big impact, bringing energy, bringing a spark off the bench, continuing to bring.
Finds Clark, back to Timpson in the lane for the lay.
What people still doubt is her defense, and this game gave a direct answer. There's a possession in the third quarter where Clark picks up Alicia Gray on a switch, stays in front of her through 2 hard dribble moves, and contests the shot straight up without reaching in or fouling. Gray misses, Indiana gets the rebound, and Clark never even needed help defense on the play. That's the two-way growth analysts keep bringing up, and it's not theoretical anymore. It showed up on tape against one of Atlanta's best scorers.
16 points. Indiana plus 14 in points off turnovers. Gray can't finish it.
Late in the fourth, down the stretch, Clark drives baseline and draws contact on the arm, sending her to the line with the game hanging in the balance. She knocks down both free throws, and that's the exact possession that keeps Indiana's heartbeat going into overtime instead of ending regulation with a loss. No hesitation, no rushed form, just 2 makes when missing, either one ends the game right there.
Clark, guarded by Sherrod, will fire a bomb and hit. Off to Clark. Clark looking to work the lane on Pow Pow, the left-handed finish.
Contacts, and guess what? They're sold out for Nike. I think they need to make some more.
Love that ollie as Clark, guarded by Howard, an outstanding defender. Clark looking to separate, baiting and hitting. She's 3 of 5 from deep. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Put it all together and the MVP conversation isn't close. A guard averaging the most points at her position in 25 years, leading the league in assists 3 years running, and now the fastest to 700 assists in either league's history. Nobody else in the WNBA is stacking these numbers on top of each other right now. This wasn't just a good stat line for Clark, it was a complete answer to every argument against her: offense, playmaking, and defense all showing up in the same 40 minutes. And she didn't do it by herself either, because the players around her showed up just as loud. Clark can't beat a team this physical by herself, not against a front line trying to bang on her all night, so the question becomes who else steps up. Turns out 3 people did, and all 3 of them picked the exact right night to do it.
And she's getting to the line so much this season.
2-season streak.
Start with Aaliyah Boston, because her line doesn't even look real. 18 points, 14 rebounds, 5 steals, guarding 3 different positions depending on the possession. One trip down, she's boxing out Atlanta's center under the rim. Next trip, she's out on the perimeter cutting off a guard's drive, and she never looks lost doing either one. But the box score only tells half of it. Watch the sequence in the second quarter where Boston grabs a defensive rebound, turns up court before Atlanta's defense sets, and hits Clark with a one-handed outlet pass that leads straight to a transition 3.
What does she do? It's for Atlanta.
Later in the third, she catches the ball at the elbow, sees Timpson slipping backdoor, and drops a bounce pass through 2 defenders for an easy finish. That's a big who does more than score and rebound. That's a big who thinks the game a step ahead of everybody guarding her. Then there's Makayla Timpson, and this one's personal for her. 20 points on 9 of 13 shooting, 7 rebounds, and this is a career night for a player who only moved into the starting lineup a few weeks ago. Since the All-Star break, Timpson's confidence has grown possession by possession, and you can see it in how quick she attacks the rim now compared to earlier in the season. No hesitation, no second-guessing herself once the ball's in her hands. Clark specifically praised her growth after the game, pointing to how much more comfortable Timpson looks creating her own shot instead of waiting around for a pass to fall in her lap. What makes this work is how head coach Stephanie White used all three of them differently instead of asking everybody to do the same job. Boston operated as the connector, feeding both scorers and cleaning up the glass. Timpson attacked mismatches in space where her length gave Atlanta problems. And Mitchell just got the ball in rhythm off screens, catching and shooting without needing to create from scratch. Spreading the load that way is exactly why Clark wasn't forced into playing hero ball against a and when the fourth quarter ran out and the game tipped into overtime, all four of those performances collided into the moment everybody's still talking about today.
Career in terms of assists per game.
And you take a look at their trio, the highest combined points per game by a trio with Mitchell, Clark, and Boston of any group of three players in the history.
End of the fourth quarter, score tied, and Angel Reese grabs an offensive rebound with a chance to just about end it right there. Point-blank range, the defense scrambles late, and for a second, it looks like the exact nightmare scenario Indiana's been trying to avoid all night. Reese gets to her spot and puts up the layup with nobody really contesting it clean.
5 seconds. Howard launches. Missed it badly. Reese the putback. Won't go. Hillman, no!
The angle looked fine walking into it. Reese had enough space, the rim was right there, and this is the kind of shot she's supposed to make in her sleep. Except this is Angel Reese. The ball comes off her hand a little flat, catches the front and blow it. And then she went and did exactly that on the biggest possession of the night. Death, taxes, and Angel Reese missing a layup that actually matters. That's not a cheap shot at her game overall. She can score in bunches against plenty of teams. But against Indiana, in the moments that decide games, that shot has not been falling. And Sunday night just added another data point nobody in Atlanta wanted. Clark's reaction told the story better than any interview could. She's going back to the bench, Reese visibly frustrated. And instead of chirping at Reese or pointing fingers at the bench, Clark just smiles. Not a smirk aimed at anybody, just a real laugh. Like she already knew how this possession was going to end before the shot left Reese's hand. That reaction spread through Indiana's bench in about 2 seconds, and it hit harder than any trash talk ever could, because Clark didn't need to say a single word for the moment to land exactly how it landed. Indiana got the stop they needed and sent the game to overtime where the Fever got to work. The Fever sealed it 95-91, and the way they closed had nothing panicked about it. Just free throws falling and defense holding until the clock ran out.
Will Angel, your team on a 17 to... You gotta put that in your back pocket.
All that physical stuff Reese leaned on the entire game. The shoves, the hard closeouts, the force she tried to play with against Clark, none of it showed up when the game actually needed a bucket. The aggression that worked in the first quarter to knock Clark off balance did nothing for Reese in the possession that mattered most. And that gap between intimidation and execution is exactly what decided this game. One overtime finish like this doesn't just happen and disappear either, not with the way Indiana's been trending the last few weeks. Indiana walks away from this one at 23 wins and 12 losses, their fourth straight win, and the gap between them and Atlanta in the standings just got a lot more real. That's not a small stretch either, 4 in a row against a mix of teams that includes a legit playoff contender in the Dream. Every one of those wins adds up, and beating a team like Atlanta on a night this physical says more than beating a team that's already out of the race.
I feel like C, over the last 4 or 5 games, her floor game has been incredible. We all know she can score in bunches. She finds ways, but the way that she's getting us into offense, the way that she's using the floor to get her teammates shots, she's not getting bogged down on one side. She's not getting bogged down, trying to create something. She's allowing the game to flow, and she's doing a great job of finding her teammates in that. And when she does that, it opens things up for her in ways. I think the 3 that she got out of a timeout, I don't think she expected to be that open, but I feel like that was a result of all the ways that she was getting everybody else involved.
This win also pushes Indiana closer to locking up home court advantage once the playoffs start. That matters more than people give it credit for, because home crowds in this league have turned into a real factor the last 2 seasons, and Indiana's crowd has been as loud as anybody's. Every extra win from here shrinks the number of scenarios where Indiana has to go play a road environment in a win-or-go-home game. And this result feeds straight into the MVP case for Clark, because voters remember games like this one. Not garbage time buckets against a team already mailing it in, tried to bully her out of the building. Games like this get remembered in November when ballots go out, and stat lines built against real competition carry more weight than anything padded against a bottom feeder. So the picture going forward is simple. Clark's out there laughing off Angel Reese's shoves and hard fouls, while posting a stat line most guards in league history never sniff in a single season, let alone one night. Indiana's rolling, Atlanta's still stuck trying to figure out how to beat them, and the only certainty left in this rivalry is the one fans keep joking about: Reese missing when it counts. Do you support Caitlyn, the baby goat? Or Reese, the baby giraffe? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.